Hey, what's up, guys? So I've been seeing comments on other videos about the Bernese Method. I roll my eyes because I know I've made a couple videos already on it, but there's a there's a few different. I don't know how to explain it. There's a few different I don't want to say versions of it, but there's a few things you need to know about the Bernese Method. There's it's like the principle is simple, but it's never that easy because it depends on the person how they respond to the micro doses of the buprenorphine. And some people, they're a little scared because they're afraid they're going to go into precip, which is perfectly normal. And you know, it's it does work. I've done that before, the Bernice method. I did it before. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it in one of my other videos. I don't remember, but um, I think it was like when the Press 30 pills, when they first hit the street years ago, like in 2015, something like that. Anyway, back when I was doing like the prescription Roxy sets, I got a sky blue pill and I was like, immediately, I was like, nah. I was like, this is not, this isn't a Roxy set. So I broke it into 8 pieces, and I was really, really curious. I'm like, what if this is just nothing, or what if it's something foreign, something that I don't know. I don't know what's in it. At the time, nobody really knew. So what I did was I broke it into 8 pieces, and I took like 1/8 of a piece, and it was like the first and only time I've ever nodded off. And I'll explain. I nodded off a little bit, not like completely just nodded out completely, but just like this, just close my eyes a little bit, and I knew something was off. So I think I was like, I hit up my guy and I was like, what is this? He's like, well, what's what? My dude gave it to me. I don't know. Like, are they, maybe they're just a different, company that makes them, or maybe. And I was immediately like, I don't know. That scared me. That actually put me into permanent fear of overdosing because that was the closest I've ever gotten to overdosing. So ever since then, I microdosed my opiates. You know what I mean? Like I'd microdose those pills, like when I was using those at the time, I would microdose the pills, you know what I mean, until I got clean from them. But I just remember, taking little pieces at a time, little pieces, and I didn't stop, you know what I mean? Like I didn't go over to um, yeah, there were a few times where I took like a half a pill, you know what I mean, or whatever. Um, but most of the time I microdosed. So with that same principle, when I was trying to get on buprenorphine, I knew about precipitated withdrawal, and that kind of freaked me out. So I'm thinking, obviously, you can't take 8 milligrams too soon, or it throws you into precip. So tried 6 milligrams, still went into precip before. Tried 4 milligrams, you know what I mean? Still went into precip. So then my brain was like, what if I microdose the buprenorphine on, you know what I mean? Like microdose the buprenorphine, and at the same time use my opiate. I don't know why I thought about that, but I was like, I'm just gonna try it. So I had like I think I had an 8 milligram strip. Obviously, I broke it into, or cut it into 4, and then did the math. I got down. I had a 1 milligram piece. I broke that into 4. So obviously, as you know, um, 1 milligram broken up into 4, and then I take one of those quarters and cut that into like 2. I think it was 2. Yeah. Um, and I remember I put, a piece under my tongue. It was the next morning that I woke up. I put a piece under my tongue and I let it dissolve, and I was like, I don't feel anything. I was like, buprenorphine's really potent, so I was like, I'm gonna I'm gonna use my opiate, and then tonight I'm gonna do the same thing, with the other piece. And I took another piece before bed. I think I was taking like 0.25 of a milligram at a time. Um, I did that, and then I think it was the next morning, I woke up. I had some, you wake up and withdrawal, whatever. I woke up and I was like, like a little cold. I took another little piece, nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm like, okay, and then I used again, and then yeah, same principle. That same night, I took another of the same milligram. It was 0.25, and then the next morning, I remember I was like, well, if 0.25 doesn't throw me into precip, 8.5 won't either. You know what I mean? So the next morning, I actually took a 0.25 the next morning. I remember, and then it was actually I think around like 7 p.m. instead of my regular like 10 p.m. dose that I would take. I took it around like 7 or something, and I took a 0.5 and nothing. So I'm like, huh. I was like, let me do this zero point 0.5 now until I work my way up to 1 milligram. So I took zero point 0.5 for 2 days, morning and I actually did it morning and night, not 7 o'clock again. It was like 10 o'clock the following days. I took zero point 0.5, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.5, and then the third day after that, zero point 0.5 dose. That morning I took a zero point 0.5, and then that night I took a 1 milligram. Now, mind you, I was using while doing this, so um, I think it was the next day after that. Yeah, it was the next day after that. I took 1 milligram in the morning, and then I remember using, and I was like, this is weird. I was like, I don't like, when your brain has an opiate in it for some reason, like you just know, even when you're on buprenorphine, you know the difference. There's an opioid in your brain, which is good. That's good to be hypersensitive that way, because that's going to help you, get through the Bernese Method successfully. And I was like, I don't really feel the opiate. I was like, is it just a weak opiate? Is my tolerance too high? Or is the buprenorphine working? And what happened? I think it was oh, that's right. I took 1 milligram morning and night for, actually it was like for another two 2 days, and then another morning. Like I said, morning, night, and then the third day on that morning I took a 1 milligram, and then that night, that night after the 1 milligram in the morning, I decided to try 2 milligrams, and that's where I started to get a little worried, because I was like, uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. I'm kind of scared. But you guys have to understand something. I was reducing, the my opiate. Like, I was reducing it. You know what I mean? Like towards 2 milligrams, like towards that end of the spectrum. I was reducing. I think it was the day before the 1 milligram, 2 milligram at night. The day before that, I took, dramatically less of my opiate. Sorry, my dog's just scratching and the camera's bouncing up and down. Sorry. um, yeah, I remember not feeling it. You know what I mean? Like, I was like what is going on? Where's my phone? Hold on, guys. 1 second. And I just remember I was like, I don't really feel like my opiate. Like, this is kind of weird, because I'm just like, I'm so used to feeling not high, but like, we don't really get high eventually. We just use to just not be sick, or just to feel normal. So pretty much, I reduced my opiate, and I continue to reduce the opiate. Penny, hey, hey, mama. So I reduced my opiate, and sorry, the dog was distracting me. Um, and then, like I said, I didn't feel it. Like I in my brain, I was like I felt like this weird like depression, almost like two chemicals were battling against each other. Like I was like what's going on up there? I got so freaking weirded out. I'm like, this is just bizarre. And but I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna give up now because if it is the buprenorphine that's working, I really don't want to. Like I don't want to stop where I'm at now because I kind of felt like I was making progress, and I didn't want to like lose my progress. So 2 milligrams that night while reducing my opiate the days prior, and then the next day after that in the morning, I took. I think it was a 2 milligram in the morning, and then that night I took a. I think I actually I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I took like a 1 milligram that night just to like I don't know why I did it. I just took a 1 milligram that night, and I was like, all right, I've got buprenorphine has a long half life, like 36 hours. So I was like, I think what I'm gonna do is balls up. I've been through precip before. I'm just gonna balls up, and I'm going to jump to like it was three. I went up per milligram. I didn't go 2, 4, 6. I went up like 1, 2, 3. So I took a 3 milligram. It was like I said, that 1 milligram at night, and then the next morning it was a 2 milligram, and then a 2 milligram later that night, and then the next day after that, I took 2 milligram in the morning, 3 milligram at night, and then the next day after that, like the day after that, the morning after, I took 4 milligrams in the morning. And now, once you take 4 milligrams, and mind you, you really really have to reduce your opiate. Like you have to try your hardest. But by that time, you're gonna kind of like feel that the buprenorphine is dominant in your brain because one, you're not really gonna feel your opiate, and the other cool thing I like about the Bernese method, like this is one thing that's not really spoken about the Bernese method that a lot of people need to be aware of, is that when your withdrawal from your opiate would usually come, uh, some people it's 6 hours, 8 hours. It's been three for me before. Hello, baby. It's been three for me before. It depends. You don't know what analog fentanyl you're using. But anyway, you know your body better than me, so I'm just going by my experience. When my withdrawal, where are you going? When my withdrawal would usually hit, I'm going to use an example. I think around this time, the withdrawal was hitting me. It was like 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours after my last dose. Um, I was like, not like I was anticipating the withdrawal, right? I'm like, all right. Usually my withdrawal starts every morning. You know what I mean? As I was doing the Bernese method, or which I didn't know it was called the Bernese method at the time, I just figured I'm microdosing my opiates. I'm going to microdose my buprenorphine because the way pharmacokinetics, the way it works in my system, the way it works in the brain. I just put two and two together, and I was like, let's see what happens the next morning. So the next morning comes, and I didn't feel like this was like I said, I took a 4 milligram, and like I felt okay. Like I was like, holy crap! Like that next morning, and I was kind of nervous. You know what I mean? Like I was really nervous because I just woke up, and I'm like, I just didn't even hesitate though. Like I was nervous, but I didn't hesitate. I put it right under my tongue, and I remember like 20 minutes went by, and I'm like, I usually think precip would happen by now. That's not always the case. Sometimes it does happen a little bit like afterwards. Like it could happen like 40 minutes after. It could happen. It's really, really, really complex. It also depends on your body fat content. It depends on a lot of different things. The analog of fentanyl you're using, if there's any fentanyl in what you're using anyway, you really don't know. Um, but yeah. I remember I was like I was like I felt okay. I'm like I feel all right. Like I don't feel sick, but I don't feel like not high, but um I don't feel what's the word I'm looking for? Like contaminated with an opiate in my brain. Like I didn't feel that, and I'm like, all right. I was like, well, this is kind of bizarre. I was like, in a good way. Like I was like, this is good. Um, that night, the 4 milligram morning, that night, I took another four, and that already, I'm counting the days and I'm counting the milligrams of how much I've built up inside of me, and I'm going off of a 36-hour scale. Like, when 36 hours goes by, I'm like, I've put this much in my brain, and I'm going higher and higher. So the dosage is already higher, and I'm like, all right, I've got this much buprenorphine in my brain. Um, and mind you, when you take your buprenorphine, you also have to understand. My boy Danny from Veterans with Anxiety has mentioned this before. This is also something I've known. Um, brush your teeth before you take your buprenorphine, and mouthwash. And what you do with the mouthwash is you don't just mouthwash spit. You don't just do that. What you really want to do is to get the full effect of the buprenorphine and the full absorption is put the mouthwash like I usually would use like before I would take my buprenorphine I would like put a little bit of mouthwash under my tongue where I would you know put the Suboxone or the Subutex or whatever the hell. I would put it under there until I'd feel like a burning under my tongue where the buprenorphine would go. And once I felt that burning, I knew the small cells were opening. So I would, I think I'd use warm water, and I'd wish it around under my tongue too, and I'd feel like a really big burn. I'm like, and I'd spit it out. Then I would take my buprenorphine because yes, there is biofilm underneath. You know, all over your mouth, really, your gums, your teeth, your under your tongue. It's everywhere. So you need to make sure you get rid of it. Even when you're brushing your teeth, brush underneath your tongue. Like most people brush their tongues, whatever. Brush underneath your tongue as well, because that's really going to help. You know what I mean? Get rid of all the biofilm that's underneath, and that's going to upper the. What are you doing, baby? Hey, lay down for a minute. Um, the biofilm it completely disrupts the absorption process. So, and like if you're taking an 8 milligram and you've got all that biofilm underneath, um, you might only get like 4 milligrams or 5 milligrams out of that eight. So don't be surprised if you're not feeling that much better. Anyway, back to the point. So I took a 4 in the morning, a 4 at night. Now the next morning, like I said about anticipating the withdrawal, I was waiting for like I woke up that morning and I'm like, this is usually where I'm feeling chills and like my stomach hurts and I'm feeling sweaty and all that stuff. The insomnia hits. Like even in the morning, I call it morning insomnia because you actually you're almost like half asleep and half awake. Like it's a weird, like you're tired and you get really tired before withdrawal hits usually, and you're like really sleepy and you're sleepy, and then like once the withdrawal hits, kind of like once it's like borderline, you're you're almost like half awake and half asleep while sleeping. Like it's the most disgusting sleep you'll ever feel. You're like, ugh, like it's not rest, dude. You wake up and your heart's just racing. Well, I didn't feel that morning. Like I actually felt okay, and I was like, please tell me that the buprenorphine won the battle. Like I don't know any other way to put it. I was like, please tell me the bupe won the battle. So what I did was I stopped my opiate that day. Like I stopped it. I didn't touch it again. I didn't even have any. Now that I think about it. Um, and what I did was I took 4 milligrams. Again, I took another four that morning, and that night I decided to go full blast and take an eight. And that's where I was really nervous. Where I was like, please, don't happen, please, don't hit me, don't hit me. Almost like Mike Tyson holding you against a freaking wall, with his fist close to your mouth. I was like, do not hit me. Please don't hit me. 20 minutes goes by, 30 minutes goes by, 40 minutes goes by, an hour goes by, and all of a sudden, like I crap you not, all of a sudden I felt this feeling of, it's like I haven't felt that way in quite a long time. It was a good feeling. I was like, I'm not, I don't want anything. Like my brain is so hypersensitive. I know I can distinguish the difference between. I told you in other videos what's real, what's not, what's imbalance, what's not, what's withdrawal, what's not. And I was like, I'm not. I don't want anything. I got so happy. So what I said to myself was, you know what? I'm gonna go 24 hours. 36-hour half-life with the buprenorphine. I'm gonna go 24 hours and not do anything. Not even take Suboxone. Nothing. So I went 24 hours, right? What happened was, on the 24-hour mark, mind you, I went 24 hours and felt perfectly fine. I could have taken more buprenorphine if I wanted to, but like I said, I didn't know this was the Bernese method. I didn't know what it was, so I kind of just was going with going with the flow. You know what I mean, and experimenting with it a little bit. So there was no withdrawal, and I'm like, this is cool. I'm like, I don't feel sick. I'm not craving. Um, 24-hour hit, and now mind you, you guys got to understand this too. Your natural withdrawal, if you're taking a potent opiate, and like I said in my other videos, you don't know how much you have, you might not even have a withdrawal. You really don't know what you're taking, so, or how much you're taking. Um, so 24 hours, it was around like the 23-hour mark or 22-hour mark, I think, really, to be exact, because a lot of people want exact numbers. Um, I felt like a slight, like a slight chill. You know what I mean? Like a very very slight chill. I mean, it was not that bad. You know what I mean? Like I didn't start shaking and crapping, and I didn't. It wasn't like that. It was just like a slight chill, and I'm like, huh. Now, what I was just saying was, you guys got to understand something. When you stop your opiate, your withdrawal begins. You know what I mean? Like it starts pretty much when you stop. And your withdrawal is always naturally going to progress higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Like it gets worse. Obviously, you guys know withdrawal doesn't just, you got the chills and that's it. Like no, you get the chills, then you get the hot legs, and then you get the hot upper body, and then you start to sweat, and your heart starts to race, your back starts to hurt a little bit, you start to crave, you start to have really bad rabid anxiety. Well, like I said, I felt that chill, but that was it. So I was like, why aren't I feeling worse? Well, the buprenorphine was dominant in my brain. You know what I mean? Like it was slowly starting to like I have a higher metabolism, like faster metabolism, so it's really not 36 hours. You know what I mean? For me, when the buprenorphine would wear off, it's more like, unfortunately, 24 hours. Uh, but anyway, like I knew that it was over 24 hours since my last opiate, but I already reduced, you know what I mean, my usage. You know what I mean? Like at first, yeah, I was using during the Bernese method in the beginning. And then once I started to feel like the opiate wasn't working anymore, I was like, I think I'm safe to start like reducing. And that's what I did. I reduced. How much I was reducing, I really can't remember right now. But I do remember that I stopped taking the opiate completely. That was the last time I was taking the opiate at that time. It was the last time, um, in for this example, one of the many times. Um, and I was like, oh wow, maybe the buprenorphine just covered 24 hours of withdrawal that I would have went through complete hell with, and it's now starting to wear off. So I was like, I think what I'm gonna do is take another 8 milligrams. Took another 8 milligrams, and that covered me for like, I think it was like another 24 hours. So you really like, the key with buprenorphine, if you don't want to get physically dependent on it, when you're trying to go through withdrawal, there's like a secret trick to this, and a lot of people they don't uh they don't seem to understand this trick. The trick is you want to let the buprenorphine run its course through your body. You want to let it, go its full cycle. Um, like I said, for some people, it's more, if you're a heavier person, it could be 30 hours, 36 hours until it starts to wear off. For me, I'm, thinner guy, athletic, so I kind of, it's fast for me. You know what I mean? It was fast. It was like 24 hours, 26 hours. I started to, it started to wear off or whatever. At this case, I was safe. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'm going to take 8 milligrams right now. Not even taking the opiates anymore, so I'm not really afraid of precip. Well, I took another 8 milligrams, and, after the previous 8 ran its course, I took another 8, and like I said, that's the key to not becoming physically dependent is to let it run its course because it's got a long half-life. You don't need to keep piling up, piling up. Yeah, in the beginning of, with the microdosing, you want to pile up, pile up, pile up. Yeah, you do in the beginning. But once you get to a specific level where you can take buprenorphine and not go through precip, like right now where we're at, um, you just let it run its course. You know what I mean? Let it run its course. Let it run. If you weigh over 190 pounds, 200 pounds, maybe even 180, you know what I mean? Like you can expect, 30 to 36 hours until it wears off. If you're like 150 or so, you can expect like 24 hours until it wears off. Let it run its course, let it leave your body, and then dose again. You know what I mean? That right there is going to allow it to leave your system. So when you redose again, it's like reintroducing it back into your system, and then you're not really physically dependent on it. Like if you keep piling up 8, and you keep doing it, yeah, you're gonna build up, and then your tolerance is gonna go up, and then when it leaves your system, you're gonna feel tolerance withdrawal. So the key to avoiding tolerance withdrawal is to let it run its course. So I remember, I took another 8 and it covered me for another 24 hours, and I was like, wow, that's another day down. Like, this ain't that bad. And then basically the rest of the time I just did that. You know what I mean? Like I would take 8 milligrams, I'd let it run its course, I'd beat my withdrawal. And then when the withdrawal symptoms started to come back, they came back lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and I was like, this is freaking amazing. I was like, yes. Like, I felt like I beat the freaking, you know, one of the bosses in that old Toy Story game for Super Nintendo that was freaking hard as hell, or the Lion King. Like, it was so hard, and like when you beat it, you're like, yes, like I got that excitement, that dopamine rush of I did it. um, but yeah, so you know, I was just taking 8 milligrams once a day. You really don't need that much, to be honest with you. Like people, they say you need 16, 24 milligrams. Yeah. If you want to feel completely leveled out, yeah, you can go higher up. But if you're gonna do 16 milligrams, dude, put 2 8s under your tongue at once, but then let it run its course. Then, at least you know that it's coming in and leaving your system, and that's it. So from then on, all I did was I took 8 milligrams once a day until the withdrawal was done. And you'll know when it's done because, like I said, if you let it run its course, you can then monitor which withdrawal symptoms return. Like I remember in the beginning when the withdrawal symptoms started to return, it was like a chill, and then my stomach might like I'd let time kind of go by just so I could like see how bad the withdrawal was when it would come back. Like I'm talking about day by day by day by day by day until it was done. I'd wait, a little bit longer than I usually would, and I'm like, ooh, my stomach hurts, ooh, my back hurts, oh god, oh god, oh god. And I think I was writing down symptoms, right? Like I was writing them down. Like I was like, I put return, underline, and under that I put 1, 2, 3, 4, however many withdrawal symptoms I was feeling that returned, and then like day whatever, day 5, day 6, day 7. I ain't gonna lie, withdrawal, like, this one thing pisses me off, and it's a huge, it's misinformation to me. When someone says, "Oh yeah, you can expect 4 to 5 days of physical withdrawal," no, dude. If you've been using heavily, expect about 10 days of withdrawal. Expect about 11 days until, like, yeah, maybe by like 8 or 9 or so, the physical symptoms start to subside. Like, it's really not 3, 4 days. Like, people always say that, and it pisses me off because, like, everyone I know, even when I went to rehabs, even when I, done it at home and done it, my boy was doing it, we were both doing it together, and, 8 and 9 days go by, and we still felt like crap. I've cold turkeyed it before too, man. And I'm telling you right now, it's a good 10, 11 days of I mean, no, it does get better, you know what I mean? Like after day 5 or 6, like, it does subside a little bit, like, you do start to feel less symptoms. And that kind of goes with what I'm saying right now. Like, I was writing down, which day it was, and which symptoms I had, and I noticed that towards like day like 8, 9, 10 or whatever, like, I'm like only like one symptom, or 2 symptoms return. Now only one symptom. And I'd let it run out a little bit. I'd let it run its course so I could, see, like, is this the withdrawal getting better? Like, is this the symptoms that, are they're going away? And also, mind you, when I was doing this, I was drinking excessive amounts of water. Like, and, you know, electrolytes, electrolyte drinks and stuff as well, because you don't want to keep just chugging water all day. I mean, you're going to flush all your nutrients out of your system, and your sodium level will plummet, and you don't want that. You want to, balance it out. Go get some mixed drinks, vegetable, fruit and vegetable. Go to your local health store and get a organic pressed, one of those glass jars or whatever that have mixed vegetable juice, mixed fruit juice. Blend them into a blender. You know what I mean? And do whatever you got to do to ensures, you know what I mean? Keep drinking some ensures, but make sure you're flushing your system and you keep urinating, because that speeds up the process of withdrawal. I told you I did that one time. I kept drinking a lot of fluids, and I kept peeing and peeing, and every time I peed, like, symptoms started to disappear and they wouldn't come back. Like, I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. But we're talking about the Bernese Method right now. So I kept, drinking fluids, and at the same time, I was doing what I just told you I was doing. Ah, my leg's falling asleep. I kept doing that, and eventually, the symptoms just didn't return, and I didn't even have withdrawal from the buprenorphine because I was letting it run its course. So I wasn't having any issues coming off that either. You know what I mean? I just kind of just stopped cold turkey, and I was good. I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? I guess I'm okay. It was interesting. So the Bernese Method, yes, you can use. I mean, you know, in the beginning of the taper, but you're gonna use in the beginning of the taper. But I do know that once you hit 4 milligrams or so, even 2 or 3, like, you can reduce your opiate use, and then you're gonna want to stop, because, like I said, let the time run, and let the clock run, and when your withdrawal is supposed to hit, you're gonna realize that you just went a whole day without taking anything, and you don't feel that bad. You don't feel any withdrawal symptoms when they're supposed to be here, like, they're not coming, and you're gonna be like, this is really interesting. It's a really cool feeling. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much how I did it. Um, I've known people that have done the Bernice method for 2 weeks. They kept microdosing for 2 weeks. They just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And by that time, you know what I mean, they were up to 8 milligrams a day. Like, it was like they were taking it twice a day, and I'm like, dude, you're obviously good. You know what I mean? Like, you can cool it now. But my advice is let it run its course. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're gonna want to do the whole, stepping up by milligrams. 2 in the morning, and then 2 at night, and then 2 in the morning, and then 3 at night, and then 3 in the morning, and then 3 at night, 3 in the morning, 3 at night. 3 in the morning, 4 at night, 4 in the morning, 4 at night, 4 in the morning, 4 at night, 4 in the morning, 5 at night. If you can do 1 milligram by 1 milligram each time. If not, I mean, if you want to jump up an extra 2 milligrams, it's a, you know, you try that out too. I mean, all I know is once you're past like 4 or 5 milligrams, like you're pretty much good to just like stop your opiate, and you're not gonna go through precip. So, um, that's what the Bernese method was to me. And I said I didn't know it was the Bernese method. I was just doing it out of curiosity, but it worked. You guys can go by my method if you want. I can even put like a dosing schedule in the. Actually, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put my dosing schedule in the description so you guys can at least look at it, because some people, they're just going to watch the video and they're going to be like, just get to the point, just get to the point, just get to the point. Okay, he did this and that's it, and they're just going to go and do it. They're going to disregard every single word that I said. There are going to be those people, and there's going to be those people that actually watch the video and listen to me and look me dead in the eye and listen and comprehend, and they're going to change their perspective and their outlook on it. So anyway, yeah, that's how the Bernese method really works. I mean, you don't want to jump the gun too quick either. You don't want to feel too overconfident and be like, you know what, screw it. I'm at 2 milligrams. I'm taking 6. Don't do that. Don't. Just don't. Titrate up and let it run its course. Like once you hit 8 milligrams, dude, and dudettes, uh, take 8 milligrams once a day and let that 24 hours run its course, so at least you can get it out of your system, and you don't got to worry about becoming physically dependent on this stuff, because that sucks. That's a really that really does suck, becoming physically dependent on it. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description. I mean, a link. I'll put a description in the video description box about like some sort of a tapering schedule to titrate onto the buprenorphine and then coming off of it, the whole Bernese method in general. I'll put that in the description, but I just wanted to tell you guys my experience and how it worked for me, and those few things that I said in there that I feel people need to know about. Um, yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in. That was my experience with the Bernese method. I'm going to make another video soon. I just would like some people's help. Just comment down below and just throw out some topics that you want me to cover. I would love to hear from people and hear about I don't care what drug it is, except for the drugs I've never done. Pretty much opiates and benzos I have experience with. But yeah, so just comment anything you want down below. Don't post anything stupid, please. I'm just asking you. Don't tell me that you just are using and you're wondering what getting high feels like, because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. So anyway, love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Expect another video soon. If I don't come up with the topic first, somebody else will, and I'll cover that. So peace out, Cub Scout. uh, and be careful doing this. Just take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't freak yourselves out. So hope you enjoyed this one. I'll be back. I'll be back soon. I have to come up with some topics, and you guys help me out. Comment down below. Give me some topics to talk about. If you're obsessing over something and can't stop, I'll try my hardest, and I'll make a video for you specifically. So peace out. Be safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon.